Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Hi, I'm Georgette Pierre, and you're listening to Black and Nuance Podcast, dispelling the idea that all Black people are monoliths, because we're not. My guests and I bring our varying perspectives to pop culture, relationships, and things we go through that we can't always name. Welcome to Black and Nuance, Rona edition. Okay, so I'm still recording remotely, obviously, because of Rona, and so I have two special guests on for this episode. I actually brought Darnell Walker back on just because he's dope, and then I brought on my fellow Leo the Lion, Chris Stahling. So here is my conversation with them.
What's happening? Darnell Lamont Walker in the building. What's happening? I would say that, just like the episode I've done before, I have no idea. I'm just me. I'm happy. I'm Black. I'm free. I'm just out here. I'm a happy Black free man in the world, just avoiding Rona one cough at a time.
I am Christopher, Harlem native, multidisciplinary artist, life coach, caterer, amongst other things. Fat, Black, and gay.
You're not. I don't think you're fat, but okay.
Honey, I got my bra, my titties and my bra size will tell you I'm big. I'm a big girl.
Chris, I need you not to. So thank you all for joining me, Rona edition. Y'all are in New York. I am taking refuge at my mom's house in Virginia. What have y'all been doing the past time? Like, what's really going on?
Well, I'm still working full time, so I have no break. So I'm just out here chilling and trying to stay alive and stay Black and maintain my sanity and see the cherry blossoms across the street and go to the store when I can and eat these canned oysters and Spam and egg sandwiches. So I'm getting through.
I've been looking at your combinations and I was just like, how does that not give Darnell the bubble guts at all? Like things.
Because he eats like a teenage boy.
Listen,
and he's almost 50 years old.
I've eaten heart, brain, lung, spleen from all over the world. I can handle some Spam.
Mm-mm.
Hell no. My mom loves Spam and some canned oysters apparently.
Hell no.
Well, what about those that are doing virtual dating? Have y'all dabbled in that yet?
I've been eating bugs. That's about it. I ain't virtually dating.
You've been eating bugs? What?
Bugs.
He said.
Oh, have you?
He says he's eating butt during the coronavirus.
During Rona, that's it. Not as been.
No, honestly, are you being serious? You be joking
I'm sure he's 100% serious.
No, I'm dead serious. I was not playing. That's it.
Oh
no, you're being dead serious, Chris. Because I'm still learning your tones. I don't know.
My tones. Oh no, I mean, I be playing and I be serious most of the time, generally.
Okay, but you're serious about eating ass for Rona, but not doing virtual dating.
But no, because I don't really like date per se. Because people are crazy. So I've been in the house, honestly. And I come bother Darnell every now and again and bring him food and drink up a liquor, but I be in the house.
You definitely be drinking up that liquor though. I have noticed.
Yeah.
There's a whole empty bottle of vodka on my kitchen counter.
He ain't drinking it
right now. I don't drink vodka. I ain't fucking with that.
That's why I drink
this is what I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I do miss like the moments of just kicking it in New York, and everyone has felt this. And I forgot to ask you last episode, so I'm gonna ask both of you all. But there's this pressure to create. There's this pressure to be all that you can be when you come out of the quarantine. Learn some new skills, backflips, languages, virtual. I am so numb. Like I want to do all these things, y'all, and then I end up doing nothing.
Yep. That's how it is. I feel like I'm the same way. Like there's so much that I wanted. I'm like, I got the time. I actually don't really have the time. I got about the same amount of time I had as when we didn't have Corona here.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm still working, which is cool. I'm fortunate to still be able to work and get a check and pay my rent. But I'm like, I got a little bit of extra time. I should use it. And then I'm like, let me just sit on this couch and watch what these people are binging on Netflix and Hulu or whatever.
Yeah.
And the world wants us to be productive because of capitalism and what that is. But at the end of the day, like people call me all day being depressed and having a lot of anxiety because they don't know when the corona is going to be over and about vaccines and just like instability. So I always tell people all the time, like, you don't have to be productive. Like, you get up today, wash your butt, taking care of yourself, and you're journaling and doing your work. Like, that's enough for the day, honestly.
Oh, listen, when I tell you I don't even follow a schedule to take a shower, I mean, I'm like, okay, well, it's 7 p.m. I probably should try to take a shower now. But
right.
like, cause like when I come to my mom's house, I'm so relaxed. And so I would usually take a shower when I'm going somewhere. But when I'm only going back to my room to watch Golden Girls, Living Single, Wildin' Now, in Living Color, something, I just become very stagnant. And I've seen your posts, Chris, and I've responded to a few of them, and I'm just like, it's just different times. I don't necessarily know what to do.
Yeah. But nobody does. Everybody is like, most people have a lot of things they put in their day to kind of distract them from just their other shit. And Corona is forcing people to kind of be still and think about like who you are and how you feeling and not kind of like throw all this shit on your list of things to do to feel like whole or productive. So honestly, it's a good time to kind of just sit and relax and take a breath.
Darnell, what about you? Are you learning stuff, or are you just really like still working on stuff, and that's your time taken?
No, I'm actually I'm learning some stuff. I actually started working back out, which is pretty good. I'm enjoying that. And before this whole thing happened, I wanted to take a ballet class, right? And so,
because you were doing what were you doing?
I'm telling you, I was gonna do ballet. Which one? What was I doing?
When you had the blanket, you were doing. Was it not? What is it called? Like
that was my praise dance.
Yes, I was in tears. Don't get off of somebody's video. I cannot.
Yeah, that was my praise dance a couple weeks ago. But you know, when I was like 16, I was in the play in high school, Fame. Everybody knows Fame. And so I had to take a ballet class. I had to take enough ballet to be bad at it because my character wasn't great at ballet. And so the teacher in the class was like, Darnell, when the play is over, I would really love for you to stay in here because you're so good. You're really so good. And I was like, huh. I was like, well, I'm a 16-year-old black man. I'm not staying in this ballet class. So
why not?
I dropped out. And because I was 16 years old and black and from the country. That was not what I was doing at 16. But now I'm like, damn, I probably could have been the greatest thing coming up out of
Charlottesville.
Out of Charlottesville, and then Ailey, I'd have been like running Ailey by now.
I mean, from what I saw with that praise dancing, I was like, okay, either
I got a gift.
He either wanted to do this or like he plays too much.
I got a gift for so I'm on YouTube, learning. So next,
are you really learning this?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm taking ballet.
Oh my gosh! That's I love it. And knowing you, Darnell, I'm not surprised.
It's going down.
It is. I started taking. Did y'all hear about that free course that Yale was doing called the Science of Well-being? And I am just like, it allows you to go at your own pace. But I signed up for it. I was like, for shits and giggles, why not? See what this is about.
Can you still sign up?
Yeah. It's a free class.
I'm about to do that so I can go ahead and put that on my resume.
Yes, you can. And so you could do
me and Courtney be bad.
It's on Coursera. So you can either pay $49 and then get a legit certificate, or you just do the free course and it's still the same.
I'm going right now.
Yeah.
What's the
Coursera? So Coursera, and then just type in the science, of well-being, and it'll pop up because now all these digital platforms are picking up the article. But I'm just like, I found out about it like when I first came home 3 weeks ago, and I signed up for it, take a free class with Yale.
Absolutely.
Why
not? And so, okay, let's talk about self-care routine. So you said you're working back out. Is there a self-care routine that people should be even thinking about doing? Like, are you all doing it because you need to, or it's because y'all were doing this before Rona?
Doing it before Rona.
What was your self-care routine, Chris?
I mean, I get up in the morning and I record my dreams if I remember them, and I meditate for like 10 minutes. I journal every day for 20 minutes, if not longer, every day. I drink a lot of water. I go for a walk every day for at least an hour. That's about it, honestly.
I haven't done any walks yet, y'all. Okay, what about you, Darnell? I need to do some walks.
For me, I do walk. So I walk. I've done that as much as possible. We have a park across the street, so I'll go over there now. I haven't been out of the Bronx in maybe
since you caught the damn Rona.
Since I caught Rona, I ain't been out of the Bronx. I'm telling you. And then I meditate. So I'm a advocate for meditation. And just talking to people. Like I need human connection and human interaction. Mm-hmm. So I've really just taken advantage of this Zoom and FaceTime. Like I'll randomly FaceTime people that I haven't spoken to in years.
Yeah.
And just FaceTime them and they'll pick up and we'll be talking. Like we'll just sit there and I forget they even on my FaceTime because I'll be working and I look over like, oh shit, you still here? What's happening? But but it's fun because it feels like you kind of working with your friends, and y'all both doing whatever y'all doing, and then y'all remember some shit, and then you're like, oh, okay, I'll talk to you later. All right.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I was FaceTiming my mentee. She moved out to LA for work, and she was like, because she had texted me like a few days before, and she was like, I'm going crazy. Can we just start FaceTime? I was like, girl, I ain't going nowhere. I'm here. Like, so hit me up. Mm-hmm. And then all these ideas were coming, and she and I were thinking about ways to collaborate on some projects that I have some ideas for. So I feel you on the, like, it doesn't feel like you feel like you're working alongside them. And you just, kind of go about your day.
Exactly.
Eating.
Yeah, building community is really important.
Yeah. No, but you know what, Chris, you put that in my head because I was thinking to myself, I said, man, when I come back to New York, I said, nobody has my spare key. Nobody has like any of the things. If I needed someone to go get my mail, nobody has that. And so I was just like, I need to work on that and really I need to do better because of Rona, unfortunately, but fortunately.
Yeah. It's hard, man.
Yeah.
It is hard. And a lot of people a lot of people, I watch on social media, live in a level of numbness too. So a lot of people are not really good at connecting or building, right? So like, I really appreciate Darnell for like bringing people over all the time and hanging out and chilling, kind of like fellowshipping. But that skill set and that desire is hard for a lot of people to do.
Darnell, you're going to have to do another kickback. Like, I mean, I promise I'm going to stay later because I just feel like the little things, and we were just literally at your apartment like shortly after your birthday in February.
Yeah.
And we were, and I followed all those people that I met and like, they've been so entertaining to me. And like, I mean, Chris being one of them, but like, I'm still in touch with like Trav and like all these people are doing different things, talkbacks and interviews online, all because I met them at your apartment, Darnell.
Yeah, it's true. And like I keep in touch with them. I talk, like Chris said, I talk to Chris all the time. He'll just hit me up, be like, I'm on my way over. And,
right.
And so, just reaching out and even family, like there's family members I haven't talked to or seen in decades and my cousin who lives in Long Island who I haven't seen physically since I was a kid, maybe 13. And
what part of Long Island do they live in?
I have no idea. But, I was talking to her. She hit her and my mom are first cousins. So
okay.
My mom was talking the other day, and my mom was like, hit her up. So I hit her up. And she's like, yeah, if you just want to get away for the weekend, just come on over. And I'm like, right on. I ain't never been to Long Island. But I guess I go over there.
Yeah, just pull up.
What I'm going to go over there for? I ain't got no reason to go over to Long Island, but I'm going to go over there because my cousin there. So I'm going to pull up, go for a weekend because, they the fun cousins, so it's cool.
The fun cousin. So they got liquor and weed.
Maybe. I don't know. We're going to see.
Right, but I feel like Darnell keeps a stash of whatever's going to make him happy.
Darnell is the party.
Look, I got a bag of mushrooms in my bookshelf right now.
See? With the shit. Always with the shit.
I was like, Darnell does not play. I'm like, this is a lot for me. I'm like, oh, okay.
I'm telling you.
What about so for those that, because I've also saw this too, and it made me think about it, but I think I also had to kind of check myself. So you know how right now everyone's kind of all in their heads and thinking about survival mode versus thriving. And so what about the inconsistent communication if you had a romantic partner? Like, is this grounds for cutting people off if you don't hear from them? Like, people are putting a lot of pressure and expectations during a time of strife. What are your thoughts about that?
I thought Chris was gonna jump in there, but he did not. So,
I can't. I'm waiting on you.
So no,
I want to see what you're gonna say.
No, I mean, I think for the most part, like, I think most people, I don't think it's putting a strain on anybody's relationship for real, because most people are in relationships because of proximity, so they're close, they're nearby whoever they're in a relationship with, and they're definitely not abiding by the social distancing rule. Like, they're like, oh, I'm going to see you, I'll be over there, whatever. So I think that's what's happening. But I think there are some people who are far away, which it's not changing anything because we can still talk on the phone. But I think it is changing the way some people communicate, because even like some of these dating apps are like, hey, we'll give you free video chat if you want to have a video date with someone.
Oh, is that who's doing that?
Bumble's doing it. I saw Bumble sent the thing a couple of days ago. It was like, we'll give you we'll give you 2 free minutes, blah blah blah. So I'm like,
you said Grindr.
I think people are allowed to.
You're echoing.
Sorry, I know why I'm echoing.
Okay.
People are sitting and with their thoughts, and I think Rona is making people force themselves to think about, well, what do you really want, right? And if you're busy with the gym, your friends and other things, you don't need to necessarily talk to somebody every day, but not you're home lonely and kind of like left with your thoughts. You're like, oh wait, I've heard the person all day or all week, and what's up with that? So I just think the time with your thoughts, the time to think about what you need, is making people kind of require more. They should have been doing it in the first place anyway. Should have been asking for what they really needed, what they wanted in the first place.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know if that's always easy. Like I was telling Darnell in the last episode, me being in my feelings and still processing, this guy I used to talk to, like we used to talk every day when he lived in LA, and then he ended up moving to the East Coast. And in my mind, I was just like, well, damn, like it would be nice to have someone like that, like intimacy, right? Like Darnell, we were talking about intimacy, and it would just be nice to have that, right? Because at this point, I got girlfriends calling me like, okay, and that has been my consistent line of communication with different people. Like I've been yearning for something romantically in someone else during these times. I don't know why. Like any other time, I think I'm okay. Like maybe because New York always kept me fucking busy and distracted. But I'm not in New York right now. So
so now you got time to think about what you want.
You sound lonely, boo. I mean, go ahead.
You sound lonely, boo. No, it's real. I'm just saying, most people are looking for something or running from something, right? And a lot of people do stuff out of deficit. So it's like, oh, if I'm not busy, I have no time to think. I could be with somebody, but do you want to be with somebody, or are you lonely, right? Or do you want to share time with people, right? Like I'm a communal person. I'm very social. I'm an extrovert. So like I enjoy fellowship. And so I cook dinner every Sunday. People come over. We drink. We play cards. Whatever. Like I enjoy that. So in partnership, I would love a partner, but I don't need him to be that person for me because I have other people for that, right? So growing as bigger people feel like, yo, fuck, I don't have the other things kind of busying myself or in the way of my loneliness or my awkwardness or my work and dealing with intimacy. So you sound lonely, boo.
Don't know. Were you about to say something too?
No, I wasn't saying that. I'm listening.
Yeah, it is. I think for me, I definitely feel like I am running away from something. Like Darnell gave me the green light over a week ago on Twitter to start my pilot script. I only started that video last night. So like that is kind of where I've been, right? Like I have all these ideas. It's just a matter of executing on them. And sometimes I just, like I had said earlier, it's just that pressure to feel like you have to create or do something.
I dated a guy once who took on a lot of stuff and got nothing done, right? Because he would get overwhelmed, and he didn't know how to deal. Never knew how to deal with when he's overwhelmed. So he was like, "Yeah, this is a great idea," or like, "I want to be better with this," or da da da. And he would like pull up his list of things to do emotionally, and then when it came down to it, he couldn't do it because he was literally overwhelmed. So I tell people all the time, like, especially in my practice, you got to take a breath and find one thing you want to do today, right? I have lists all over my apartment. I have stuff that kind of keep me grounded and focused on like the long term goals. But you have to like take a pause and allow yourself to like do a thing and that be okay, right? So you're in conversation with Darnell and he inspires something that's dope and great, add it to the list, but you can't be oppressed by having all the shit to do, right? Because at the end of the day, if you die tomorrow, what good is it?
Oh, that's fair. I mean, at least I could say I recorded my podcast tonight, and I have been sitting on recording this podcast for 8 months since I left Florida. I haven't had a new episode since last August.
So thank you for including us.
Right. And so I was in a zone writing my script, and I told myself at least, give myself like a couple of hours on such like that thing to at least feel some type of productivity, working towards some stuff. So.
Yeah, and be kind. Like, and again, like, if anything, Rona is teaching people to be still and be kinder, right? Like, am I enough or productive or dope if I don't get 100 things done that are in a Rona? Am I still as confident, as dope, or as whole, or as important if I only do one thing, right? Like, productivity and that shit, like, it's real, but also it's not sometimes. It's a bunch of bullshit to kind of like make people feel good about the holes in their heart.
And Darnell, I'll send you the direct link to that class if y'all want to sign up for it.
Oh, I already signed up. I got the certificate.
Look, he gonna put it on his resume. I went to Yale.
You think I didn't? I got ordered the certificate for $49.99.
No, I should. And part of classes start today. Like, damn it. Yep. But I agree with you. Like, why not? I mean, it's a free course and $50 to audit a class for Yale. That's not even a bad thing. Okay, so I want to get into this, my second segment called All of the Things. It's really lighthearted or sometimes personal. And this was inspired from conversations that we were having at Darnell's place. Chris, you and I were talking about it, and I think we were just talking about it in general. Actually, no, it was all three of us talking about some stuff. And so the idea of performative masculinity, and I didn't really realize that was a thing. And then also the second component of weaponizing vulnerability. But I want to talk about performative masculinity, from y'all own experience. What is it about our Black men that where they're afraid to be openly affectionate, or they find it challenging to be openly am I saying that openly? Oh shit, openly affectionate.
you gonna get it. I'm gonna get it
right. Whoever wants to kick that off.
I wrote a paper once, and it was all about like the title of the paper was "When We Start Giving Black Boys Hugs." And I noticed that after 10, we stopped hugging boys. And I grew up in New York, and I grew up with a lot of like diasporic men who aren't from the U.S. or from America, and a lot of them like are very affectionate. So all my friends are Dominican, all my friends are from Ghana, like they're very, very affectionate with each other. But in the kind of American culture of it all, I watched little boys stop getting hugged. So I remember working in a school, I would make it a point to hug them, and I remember all the Black women kept saying to me, "Christopher, you can't do that because you're gay." And they gonna think you trying to molest the boys. I said, molest them? I would never molest any boy. We talking about, but they. So I think the way people perform gender, and also the way Black men struggle with vulnerability sometimes, or intimacy, or affection, or receiving it, or giving it, or showing it, might be wrapped up in also how women police them sometimes, or how society tells them that, yo, if you do too much of anything, you're gay. And the big boogeyman in the room is kind of like anything that's not hard or protective or strong or demeaning, then you're not a man and you're not masculine. So you must perform this to kind of be desirable for other women, honestly. And I don't think a lot of women realize how much they play into the dance of how the men they want them to love them can't show them affection the way they want to.
Darnell, your thoughts?
No, I mean, I think it's, I really don't have much to add. I think it's such a true thing. Like even me raising a son, there were times when I would have to stop myself from telling him certain things, like, why are you crying? You're asking those questions. What are you crying about? Why are you crying? Don't cry for, and because I remember, being a kid, and my family is very open to like a lot of things. And so it wasn't an issue, but there were moments where it was like, this ain't something you should cry about. And I'm like, why not? And so, so raising a Black son, it's sort of like I'm fighting against that. And it's work. Like I see my son, and he doesn't mind walking down the street and I got my arm around him or hugging me or all of these things. But I know women who are raising sons who I've heard them say, you out here acting like a fucking faggot, or whatever.
No, yeah.
And it's like, and she's like, I don't want my son to be no faggot. He don't need to be hugging nobody. I'm like, what? And so it's so it's like this thing where
and even go back to
and so
slavery
it's
too.
like this thing I always say with like, if you like, there's so many things that we think are feminine. And so you keep telling, you raise these boys to reject all of that and say, I don't want you to do that because it's feminine. And then at some point you're surprised that your son grows up to hate women. And it's like, no, but you've been teaching that his entire life.
Right. And
so it's like, if you constantly tell him, don't do that, that's what women do. Don't do that. That's a woman thing. It's like, okay, so when he grows up and doesn't like anything about a woman, then he's beating this woman or he's disrespecting her, then it's like, right, because you told him to reject everything that's her.
Within himself.
Within himself.
Right.
And so he can't be, so like I grew up very in tune with my emotions and working on that still and learning to be more and more vulnerable and whatever. And so when
what are you laughing at, Chris?
Because Chris is crazy. Chris is crazy. but
no, I'm actually honored to be a part of his process because I've known Darnell for 2.5 years now.
Yeah.
And I laugh at him because being cheeky because he is crazy, but also he shares more with me than most. So
yeah.
It's also very honor to see another Black man like just kind of share in a way that's beautiful. I give him a shit about it all the time though. That's why I laugh.
Right.
But no, yeah.
So right, because he's crazy. But so like doing that, like doing all that stuff, it's like. But when like me growing up as a Black boy who wasn't afraid to show my emotions or whatever, and, it's like, oh, he must be gay or he must be this or he must be that. So that's I grew up hearing that all the time. Like, oh, you like the theater and flowers and this and this. Oh, you must be gay.
Yeah,
or art.
You must be gay.
You must be gay. It's like, what? No, what? Yeah. Where does that even come from? But
I think
you hear that so often.
I think also people don't have a lot of language around what they're really talking about because like sometimes performing gender and dealing with the emotions or being sensitive or being soft are all wound up to be women things. And they're actually not, right? And everybody has masculine and feminine energy in them.
I agree.
Somebody lean on more on the spectrum. So like what Darnell's talking about and what I've experienced as well is like policing. My mother's two greatest fears in life were for me to be gay and me to have HIV, right? And although it sounded homophobic growing up in the household, it really was about being safe, right? I grew up in Harlem. She grew up in the 70s and the 80s and 60s. So she was worried about like me not being safe. And because she knew that people who were gay were the most hated people in the world, there's a level of unsafety that by living in a certain level of truth exhibit that way, right? On top of that, I learned going to school and reading bell hooks and kind of like just like expanding my language and my world view and stuff. It's like, when we relate emotions, intimacy, vulnerability, and sensitivity to women things, that means men can't be vulnerable or sensitive because that's not a man thing to do. It's actually not true, right? People's deficiency in these skill sets or these things of vulnerability has nothing to do with them being men or women, right? Yes, men are not supported in society or in homes or households or other relationships to be more intimate with each other or more deep, but it's not because they don't want to be women, right? It's because the women around them or the men around them taught them that wasn't acceptable, okay, or healthy.
It's something that Darnell was saying, or both of you are saying. One, Darnell, I think this could be your next film. I would absolutely love.
Actually, because that's what I've been thinking about. I bought a book recently called I forget something, which is Affectionate Men.
Okay.
It's a book of photography.
Is that the one I opened up with?
Yeah, with the men just being affectionate since like 1850 toward each other, and I'm like, this is it. This is the story that we told.
In the U.S.
Yeah, it's in the U.S. Yeah.
But I think it's so important for black men. Obviously, like I feel like you focus on us, but the reason why, the thing I've had issues with is, so with a lot of the things that Chris said, I think was very poignant, but there's also the issue of performing gender, as Chris has been calling it, is that the men that that reject their feminine energies, there are us Black women that are on the receiving end of this emotional trauma. Because there was a quote I found on Twitter, on Instagram, and I wish I kept it in my phone, but it was just like, shout out to the men that can't express their emotions, that thought that expressing your emotions meant you were weak, that blah, blah, blah. And at the end was like, and you're still struggling inside, right? And I was like, this is it. Like, this is exactly
I would go even further and say kudos to the men who did it and chose to do it on their own volition, right? Because some of those men grew up with women, some of those men grew up with people who had a woman partner who pushed them, right? Like a lot of people, nobody does anything by themselves or for themselves, right? You either do it, and most people like who the fuck they are and continue doing things until it doesn't service them anymore. So all the men I've ever met who are different with communicating with emotions, receiving love or whatever, somebody made it a point to make sure that that person, that man is better, right? My mother was like, we ain't doing this shit, like, nah, right? So,
right.
There's no magic or mystical man you can find in the universe who's just better at communicating. No, that man is a byproduct of somebody saying you ain't gotta do this anymore, right? Maybe he's been to therapy, maybe he had a relationship with his mother or a woman or an aunt or a cousin or a sister. So like somebody made it a point to go, yo, like, and also too, women don't necessarily share enough about all they have to go through to be loved by other Black men, right? They talk about it in a way of like, oh, he ain't shit. Fuck that nigga.
Like trash ass. Yeah, I got some. Yeah.
But like, yo, on some real deep vulnerability shit. I've tried to be loved by this kind of Black man over these years. Here's how it impacted me. It's a different conversation, right? Just reacting to or over categorizing people's behavior with a character attack isn't an answer of vulnerability, right? It's like no. I've had the misfortune of loving Black men too as a gay man, and I understand these things about what I attract to what they're going through. So it allowed me to understand way more than I'm like, he a fuck nigga. That's cute on a t-shirt, but like, why is he a fuck nigga? What did he do? What does he do? What did he do?
Well,
right?
But the quote was trying to contradict, basically saying like, the men that think that it's okay to keep your feelings inside are actually like, that's not what you're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
but the how and the why is very important, and most people don't think about those. They hit those things and go, yeah, that's right, amen, snaps to that, and they don't think about, well, how did he get there, and why did that happen?
I'm gonna find this quote for y'all too. I also want to talk about, so leaning into like segueing into weaponizing vulnerability. I have never heard it put that way. How does one weaponize vulnerability? Have you all done it before? Oh, okay, wait, real quick. Okay, I found the quote. Shout out to all the men going through a lot with no one to turn to because the world wrongly taught our males to mask their emotion, and that strong means silent.
And what's the last part? The what?
And that strong means silent.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That you're basically silencing.
Go ahead.
I had a client once, was a straight man, a straight Black man who was emotionally abused by his father forever. And he has light eyes, he has very sensitive eyes, and everything about sensitivity was so that he was gay. So I remember in session, I was like, you're very sensitive. I'm not gay. And I was like, I didn't call you gay. What did you hear me say?
Right.
And he literally was like, we spent 3 months unlearning that anything related to being silent, anything related to being sensitive, and him wanting to be silenced and his feeling was not okay. I was like, motherfucker, your father was afraid of you being gay, but what else did he offer you? Nothing. Like nothing else but just be silent, hold it in, and bottle it up. So yeah, it's mad real. It's mad real.
What you say?
Banging shit.
I said, Darnell cooking. You like warming something up.
Cooking nothing.
Can you hear shit?
Nothing.
Can you hear me?
Yes, banging shit. Yes, we can hear you banging everything.
Shame on y'all. Shame on y'all for calling me out.
You banging shit, we can hear you.
This why nobody want to be vulnerable. people like yeah.
Chris is too funny. But wait, Darnell, what were you about to say? You were about to say something.
No, I mean,
my question to you all was about weaponizing vulnerability, and have you all done it? What does that actually even mean?
I would be interested to find out what it means. I mean, I would imagine that it means like going into somewhere and use it, and me saying, I've worked on mine, and you need, what I mean, like using it to attack other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
because the
and there's a
bullet points
way
I have,
to
I
do it.
think,
Like,
from
I
what
don't want to be vulnerable if this is if it means I got to go out there and be like a Jehovah's Witness or a vegan and be like, this is who I am, talking about it all the time. But what I was going to say is like, even on my film, about mental health,
Yep.
I talked about how there, once upon a time, there it was a thing where you felt the need to be strong and silent because everyone else was going through the exact same thing you were going through. And just speaking about like slavery and like the Jim Crow South and all, it's like, I don't want to put all this stuff on you because you have the exact same problems I have for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're all dealing with this shit, but we don't live in that anymore. We're not in this time where I need to stay silent. We're in a time where people are there to help you with your problem.
Yeah.
And people are in place to help take that weight off of you. And that's what we need to realize. I mean, like our parents were, I think we're the first generation of people who are willing to talk openly, like as far as like like the number of us for Black folks. White people have been doing it forever, but we are. There hasn't been a time in this country where we've been without at least like stress and all this stuff, but we're at the back of the line for talking about it.
Right. That's actually a great point that you said that. I want us to get to a place where I think we still have a lot of work to do though, Darnell, in regards to
absolutely.
Black men talking about it and being open about it. But let me add the piece in, because again, like it could always seem one-sided, but I understand that Black women contribute to some of these things, right? And so I had always said that if there was ever an organization that was a safe space for Black men to be able to emote and be able to be themselves and be vulnerable, like I would be the president, the CEO, the founder. I would be an advocate for that, because I have, not only have I been on the receiving end, I just understand like how damaging it is. And a lot of times when we're on the receiving end of someone's trauma, it has nothing to do with us. And they just don't really know how to unpack that. Go ahead, Chris.
You also got to think about too, every person you meet, every person you fuck or try to love had a whole life before you met them, right? So not just the trauma, but also like they may have had experiences where they were emotionally homeless, right, and not made to feel safe,
Oh,
vulnerably, right,
interesting.
or emotionally. So it's one of those things where like it's beautiful to talk about, like, oh yeah, we should all want people to like be whole and safe and well and be vulnerable and share. But are we ourselves building spaces in our homes, right, in our four walls, at dinner, at the bar, where people feel seen, heard, witnessed to, and feel safe enough to share, right? Because the organization is a macro idea that can combat a thing, but if every individual person in their own four walls took care of themselves and people who have the privilege of meeting them, it's different, right? Like I am always fully present when I meet anybody, right? So it can go from something very light, it campy and cute, to like, yo, well, why are you depressed? Why are you sad? And not because of my skill set or my degree, but because like, no, I think it's an honor for people to share, and I know how hard vulnerability is, and I want people to always feel safe enough to tell me what hurts, or tell me what it is or what it's not. And that's why I can fix it, but I can be there to hold your hand or be there to be a witness, right? But people that don't know how to do that, they want to go somewhere and send. I want to send you to therapy. I want to send you to this place and get what you need. It's like, no. Are you building a space? Are you building a home for people to not be emotionally homeless? And a lot of Black people, specifically men, exist in life in the world emotionally homeless. They have to be perfect, have it together, protect, provide, and be all these things. And there aren't many places where they can just be broken or be a mess or figure it out. And with other men, like fraternities or churches, like there's places that exist for them, but there's no accountability, there's no honesty, there's no I'm gonna hold your hand, it's okay. Like none of those things are possible. So this magical space to be created has to be created in your house, right? First.
But that's one thing that I'm very grateful about my I'm a part of a fraternity, and so like in my frat with my circle of brothers, we have built that space where brothers can come in and express themselves and be as vulnerable as they want and have been. Like we were at a wedding and it wasn't the groom. It was one of the brothers who came, who we've known forever, and he came in and had us a breakdown at the party the day before the wedding, and we all just circled around him and sat there for hours just talking to him and talking him through it and all this stuff. And it was like, this is what the frat is supposed to be about. But but it's not always about that.
Correct.
And they're every chapter's not like that. Every brother's not like that. But you got to find your people. You find your tribe.
Find your tribe, or build it, right? And I being a Harlem kid, my favorite time period in history is the Harlem Renaissance. So I had books and people telling me about the life that existed in the 1920s. So I look forward to being the person to build that, right? So everywhere I go, if I know how to cook or because I'm like communal or extrovert, bring people together, right? But every person that knows me, we go from talking about dick or talking about God or politics or whatever, and talk about something very, very real, very fast. Because again, right, I want my home, I want my space that everywhere I touch to be a place of like just let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Or well, why not? Well, who hurt you, right? But again, if individual people can't do it themselves, you can't expect somebody else to do it in a mass group.
No, that's fair. Okay, so what about the thoughts around, so going back to weaponizing vulnerability, some notes I had underneath there were people we grew up around haven't made us feel safe, and then leaning into narratives that don't allow us to be free. Have you all ever, it doesn't sound like you all have, but like, have you all ever been in a situation where you have been kind of forced to be in a narrative that wasn't who you were, based off of like whether the generational trauma that may have been passed down, or your parents not knowing any better, or even people that you all were around that were trying to fit in with?
Oh, I think everyone has.
Yeah, I definitely have.
At some point, it might have been in the past, but I absolutely, like, growing up around a bunch of people who just didn't understand who you were. And sometimes you didn't even know who you were. Like, speaking for me, you're growing, you don't know who you haven't seen the world. So you only know yourself in this space and in this place that you grow up in and with these people. And so, like, I had cousins and friends who were not at all what I wanted to be. And no one knew, they were drug dealers and hustlers or whatever. And me, I want to be a writer. No one knows what that
right.
means. It's like, I don't know what to do with you, cuz. I just so I was that cousin. Luckily, I had people like, I had those cousins who did sell drugs and who were hustlers, who were also like, we see something in you. We don't know how to do it, but we're gonna make sure that you get out of here for you to figure it out. But I felt myself wanting to be like trying to fit in with them for as long as I could in that place. So, because sometimes it's about survival, right? So it's like, I have to be this person for right now to survive in this space.
Yeah.
And so you have to kind of adapt. Mm-hmm.
I grew up a single parent, so I was told that I must be lacking something in my manhood because I grew up with 13 women, and I never felt anything but love, right, by everybody who loved on me. And I grew up in a big community. I had a lot of aunties, uncles, and cousins. I had a lot of family, but I never felt less than. But I was always told everywhere I went, well, you don't have any men in your life, so you just don't know what it means. So I learned that a lot of people aren't really listening, and it made me not be a sharer. Although I offer up my story often, I don't really share things a lot because people aren't really listening. So in terms of being vulnerable, I've always had specifically a woman in my life who always kind of was like my mirror, my amen corner, my like confidant, my sounding board. And I've been always very fortunate that even as I discovered my queerness when I was very young, the more I got, the more I embraced it, the more I started questioning everything I was given. Right? Did I have to be this kind of man who had a bunch of women or sexual partners, or did I have to be this man who was numb? Or so my queerness kind of saved my life, where it made me question everything. Because if I wasn't going to hell and what I felt for this other man was beautiful and divine and great, then everything else I was taught must be wrong too. So let me evaluate that and go into therapy and experience it. So it's kind of about weaponizing vulnerability. It just sounds like it means two things. A, on a negative end, going somewhere in what you've shared has been used against you. So you've now learned to protect your heart or your story in a different way. And the second thing is kind of like, I actually heard it first saying, oh, you are so whole, confident, and clear about your story that regardless of how much you share, your story stays intact. right? That nobody can say anything to you because you know what it is or you're not. And also, I would assume that you've had people who are willing to catch you emotionally where you don't feel emotionally homeless or abandoned.
I really like that term, emotionally homeless. I'm gonna have to use that.
It came up, and I learned it from TD Jakes. He was doing a life class, and this woman had cheated on her husband, and she was with him in the audience in life class for own, and she was talking about how do we rebuild trust, and TJ said, well, you've now made your husband emotionally homeless, so he doesn't feel safe with you anymore, right? So he may have forgiven you, and when he wants to make it work, because y'all married, and you have kids, he probably loves you, but emotionally speaking, you've harmed him to the point where he doesn't feel safe anymore. So there's always going to be a wall up against his vulnerability with you. So I got it from him. I got it from TJ.
Okay, I'm not mad, TD. Well, I mean, to wrap this up, what do you think? I mean, short of Darnell doing this next documentary, which I can't wait to see, short of that, what can be done in the interim,
I mean, I think right now you need to, again, find your people or build your people. Like, there's so many people who are like, you see it all the time on Facebook or Instagram. People are like, I'm the only one out here. Only got me. And
they proud of it too. And
they take so much pride in it. They sound hurt, but they take so much pride in it. It's like, if you wanted something better, you would find it. And I know people out there because I exist. And so,
exactly.
So it's like, find your people. It's not too late to start loving, to be the person who gives the love, or learning how to do it. And I had a post today. I was like, now that y'all have time, maybe you need to start crossing those people off the list who make you feel that way, who make you feel like you all you got, and then start building yourself up. You got time now to do all the research you need to get out of this thing a better person.
That's fair. Chris, what about you?
3 words: get free, nigga.
Oh my gosh!
Go to fucking therapy. No, like I want people to go to therapy. I want people to not be conditioned or proud to do emotional lifting alone.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't. You could do this right in journal and figure it out and suit yourself, and everybody has what they need inside of them already to heal themselves. But I don't think after all we've gone through, being post-traumatic slave syndrome, through a trauma of just being black in the country and living, existing in the world, to do that kind of emotional work alone. So to echo Darnell's point, build your tribe, fight for it, like your life depends on that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Journal, and how bad do you want to be well, right? Because every partner that I've had, person that I've been with, I've met, I always take 2 seconds to consider who they were before they met me. Not to fix them, but to be like, wait, that wasn't even mine, right? So I ain't gotta even engage it or respond to it. I could keep it moving.
Oh, I commend you, because I don't even do that.
No, because again, if you don't consider it, you're gonna get caught up in their shit.
That's fair.
Trying to love them, heal them, be loved by them, and even consider like, yo, he told me already he's going through A, B, C, and D. He's told me already he's not good communicating with emotions. He's told me already he's numb emotionally. So why am I fucking with him still? Right. Like, what is it? So if you take 5 seconds and take a pause and go, wait, who was this person presenting himself to me, and what do I want to do? Right? But that kind of people are afraid of themselves, and for me, breathing is exercise and taking a pause. Can I consider who the fuck I am, what do I need, and who I'm with?
Mm-hmm.
That takes a moment, right? And that work, that skill, those tools you develop takes time, and you should do it with somebody who's trained, right? I have friends. I also go to fucking therapy, and I'm saying, even if I didn't have the friends that I've built over the past 25 years, I also had a person who was not my friend to hold my hand, guide me, push me, challenge me, hold me accountable, tell me, motherfucker, you crazy? Why are you doing that? Does it work for you? So get free, nigga. And how bad do you want to be well?
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Fellas, how can they find you online?
You can find me on the corner doing things for things, turning tricks.
If you don't stop, I can't.
Don't follow me on Twitter because I follow all the hoes on Twitter. So don't follow me on Twitter.
Are you on Twitter though, Chris? I feel like you're on Instagram more.
But don't follow me. I'll block you. Don't follow me.
Oh God.
All the hoes.
Oh God.
All the hoes.
He's a fool. Okay, Darnell. Well, let's start with you first.
Clever Bastard on Instagram, writer_heathen on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn, Darnell Lamont Walker. I always use my full name because every Darnell Walker has been locked up. Actually, I've been here. So, use the full name. All the other ones are in
and it's funny. I've been sending people your way, Darnell, on some like real resume writing shit. I was like, okay, so I got somebody that can do your resume.
Absolutely.
Like, I was like, I might actually need to hit Darnell up for real because there's some things that I haven't even thought about doing that people have been recommending. I mean, it's obvious stuff, but if you don't think about it, it's not.
Let me know.
I definitely will do that.
Follow me on Instagram, Insatiable Lion.
Yes.
I'm on Facebook. I'm not on LinkedIn.
Okay. You should get on LinkedIn, sweetheart. Why not?
Cause I got awards and shit.
Okay, I don't believe you, but okay. Are you on Twitter as Insatiable Lion too?
I am, but I don't. I mean, I don't post anything crazy, but I don't engage outside from following the hoes. Yeah, I follow freaks with that.
I don't believe that. I feel like you would find more freaks and hoes on Instagram. No.
Oh
no, they all on Twitter. No, they all on Twitter.
Are they really?
They left. Everybody left Tumblr. Everybody left Tumblr and went to Twitter.
This is true because they added all those restrictions on Tumblr. I loved how free Tumblr was before they got bought by Yahoo, and then I think Yahoo ended up selling them to somebody else, and it just wasn't the same.
No, yeah, but I'm Insatiable Lion on social media, on Facebook, Christopher Stahling. I have a food page, Fortitude Sun. I'll be cooking.
Yes, because I'm gonna be paying you to cook. Listen,
I'll be cooking and life coaching, getting people well, holding their hand. But the easiest just found me on Instagram.
Oh, Darnell, I don't think you ever gave your website or links because you have links to your documentary and stuff. I forgot to ask you about that too.
Oh yeah. So check out. You can check me out if you want to travel. You can check me out at passportrequired.com. If you want to see the mental health film, that's at outsidethehouse.com. And the film about sexual assault and rape is therapemovie.com.
You lucked out on that daggone URL, Darnell.
Yeah, absolutely.
And rest in peace to Earl Graves Sr., the
absolutely.
owner of Black Enterprise.
Root to the Q.
Oh, was he part of Omega Sci-Fi?
He was in Omega.
Oh, I don't think I knew that. Okay.
And he's funding Morgan State College business program.
Yeah, and so he passed away this week.
To the good,
I decided to actually drop both episodes this week because I'm like, why not? It's Rona. So
why not?
I got nothing but time on my hands. But yeah, oh my God.
Thank you for having me, Georgette. This is my first podcast.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna be bothering y'all. I'm gonna be bothering everybody, and we're gonna be plugging up through one of these platforms. I'm trying out all of them. This is my first time using Ringer. There's another one that I might try as a podcast. So I'm gonna be playing around. But I appreciate you all for hopping on and getting down and dirty with me for my podcast.
Thank you.
Absolutely, I appreciate you.
Yes. So hopefully see you back in New York soon, guys. I miss it up there.
Well, let me know when you get up here.
It ain't gonna be.
Let me know when you come. Yeah.
She ain't coming back.
I will. So I told him I'm driving up, like literally to turn back around. But I was like, if y'all need me to drop off something for y'all while I have my car, I can.
Oh, you know, bring some roti. Your mom makes some roti. Bring some roti out.
Okay, wait. Okay, so that's not what I was bringing, but I'm like if Darnell needed some water or something like that. Like, yeah. So I'll text you then. It's gonna be Saturday morning, and then I'm literally turning back around.
Okay.
I'll keep y'all posted. Okay, well, y'all have a good night. Stay safe and Rona free.
Appreciate you. Talk to you later.
Oh, thank you so much to Chris and Darnell for joining me. That was fun and interesting. More conversations. Man, I can't believe I waited 8 months and Rona to get back in it. But you know what? At least I'm back in full effect. So you can catch me on Twitter at Georgette and Instagram at Georgette Pierre. You can catch you can follow my podcast accounts on Twitter and IG at Black Nuanced Pod. That's Black, NUANCED Pod. Find me on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Google Play, and Spotify at Black and Nuanced. podcast. Subscribe, leave comments, 5-star comments, please. If you love it, drop me a line at blacknuancedpod@gmail.com for your questions, comments, and feedback, but also on the ratings. So I appreciate you all so much. And until the next episode.